start recording. So if you wouldn't mind, put some ones in there. And you're not doing it, so I'm not sure you guys are hearing us. If we don't see some ones here, we're going to be a little worried. So you should be seeing us and hearing us. So it's real simple. Just find that little question box and just throw a one in. Right now there isn't any. So I'm going to assume you're hearing us and seeing us all right. And throughout the presentation, go ahead and put questions in or comments, and we'll get our guests to answer them. It looks like we do have some ones in here now, so I think everything's fine. Very cool. Thank you, everybody that's put some ones in. Appreciate it. So here we are with our guest today. I know very little to nothing about you guys, so I'm going to apologize for that up front. Let's start with your names. Let's go with that one. I know that I've seen that you've been together at least a little while, 10 years or so, and that's pretty cool. And that you're building a business as a couple, that's cool also. It's hard. I've done it with my wife, and I'm doing it with my wife. So I know how tough that can be. It can be great fun, but there's also some tensions that can occur. So tell us your names. Let's start with that.
No, my name is Angie.
And my name is Bernard. And we're co-founders of Laundry. So yeah, you're right, Wayne. So yeah, we've been together for 10 years now, and partners in life, partners in business. Not always the easiest thing, but at least the one common thing we share though is our passion for sustainability and animals, the environment. So at least that's what keeps us. Everything else we fight about, but that's one thing we can agree on.
We fight about laundry too.
Yeah.
So any little ones around, whether they be humans or animals or you name it?
Yeah, we had a couple little cats. We call them that. Those are our kids for now. As you know, with an entrepreneur, it's business sometimes takes over your life, and it's really tough to think about anything else outside of that. And Kind Laundry is our priority right now. So that's pretty much taken much of our time.
By the way, Sierra, why don't you put your webcam on? We have one of our other hosts here, and I'm going to see if she'll turn her webcam on. We'll keep going. Where's home for you guys? So where are you coming to us from?
We are based in Toronto, Canada.
And has that been home for a while?
That has been home for us for pretty much forever. Yeah, we love it here. It's because we sustainability is such a big thing for us. We love some of the changes that the Canadian government is actually implementing very soon as well. So by the end of this year, they're actually banning all plastic forks and knives as takeouts with restaurants. And then obviously now with a lot of grocery stores as well, they're not offering plastic bags anymore. So just love it, like just in terms of how the government is managing, the plastic crisis here.
How about plastic straws at fast food places or restaurants?
Yeah, definitely. Like if you
banned or not, they are.
If you go to like your local restaurants and Starbucks, majority, I wouldn't say like all of them right now, they're using more like the paper straws. So a lot of so we have a big coffee chain here named Tim Hortons, and they actually changed their cap so that you can just drink straight out of the cap, so they don't give away straws anymore.
Cool.
Yeah.
We've been on a roll having our guests be plastic vigilantes, going after the plastic. And our last group was from Australia, and a husband and wife team also, and they spent 7 or 8 years in Toronto, and actually went there from Australia believing they were going to find a more sustainable, eco-friendly life, and they did. And they went back to Australia and found that things had changed a little bit, that things had actually gotten more eco-friendly and green, and in Australia. But one of the things that they were really excited about, that if you get a chance as we talk here, maybe you can, if you know anything about it, is that there are essentially financial incentives to not be using plastic for consumers, and that there's some pretty significant, like in the US, we have like this is a metal can, and if I recycle it, I get a dime back.
Right.
So, and a lot of plastic containers, if I take it and recycle it, I get a dime back. So that, but this is supposedly more of a almost a reverse tax, or maybe it is a tax on plastic suppliers. But if you know about it, we can talk about it. So, Toronto forever. You know, I have a lot of really good friends from Toronto. You guys are a little California-ish. I'm from California. Torontons don't have accents. You don't have the Western Canadian, where there's a lot of the process, and there's clearly, I can always tell someone from British Columbia or from Alberta, maybe even Saskatchewan. And then you certainly don't have the French Canadian, sort of from Ontario and so on. Torontons tend to be very diverse, and so because of that, there's not a lot of an accent. You sound very neutral in terms of voice. So, what would you say are terms, though, or words that maybe are a little distinctive to the Toronton speech? I gave one from Western Canada, process, rather than process, which we use here in this country. What would be one maybe that you use?
Oh, that's a good one. I feel like there's so many, but the top of our head, what else? What other words?
I really can't think of any. I mean, like obviously, like, you know, the A with Canadians, like, right? A. That's
Yeah.
just.
Is that nationwide? So that's kind of nationwide.
You know what?
You hear that?
Yeah, we've been living here for so long that we probably just so immune to it, we don't even notice it anymore. But like to your point though, like because Toronto is so diverse, it's actually one of the bigger cities with you know, just all types of restaurants here because of there's so many different cultures here. So I don't think there's like a one specific thing to Toronto, just because everyone kind of brings their own thing in, and obviously us being, you know, a diverse background as well. Here in Toronto, like you almost see, and that's a great thing. That's what I love about Toronto, is like you just see people as people. You don't see them as color. You don't see them as anything. They're just people, you know, and everyone gets along, and that's the one great thing about Toronto.
We might come back to that one a little bit later, and in terms of, you can hear the contrast to what's going on here in the States that way, but we'll leave that for a little bit. So let's get more into your passion. And 10 years as life partners, business partners, tell us how KIND became an interest, and maybe take us back further, even, you know, either independently in your lives, you can each talk about it, and sort of what led towards. Take us to the start of KIND, then we're going to take you through it. We'll go kind of through its lifetime a little bit. By the way, in the background, everybody, when you guys before, not only were we worried about maybe you wouldn't be here, Instagram was down for a while, for about a half an hour to get to your Instagram page, and it was down. And then anyway, we just weren't able to get some things on, but we did, and those are now out there. Kiera, are you able to talk? I know you must be maybe on the road, so your webcam's not on, but if you're able to talk, tell me that you're out there.
Yeah, I'm out here. I didn't want to be a distraction. I have people working on the house today, and they're running around and being loud with hammers, but I'm here listening. Hey guys, I'm glad to have you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, I love what you're doing.
Sierra's from the Cincinnati, Ohio area. I'm from Northern Colorado. Arib's from Pakistan, and Mark is from Bangladesh. So we got the world kind of covered here in the northern part, sort of broadly. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's great.
So again, let's go to my question. Take us from whenever you think it's appropriate, either independently or together, up to the start of Kind. And even go to how'd you pick the name and sort of the direction the business is going to go and so on.
Yeah, for sure. I think just super briefly about us, we also started in the corporate world. So we each individually work for different, Fortune 500 companies. And our background is marketing. And, I just remember one day, you get to that age where you see all your friends around getting married, having kids, and that, we were still in the corporate world. And I just remember one day sitting at Angie's home and we're like, hey, we got to decide what we want to do with our future. And it's always peer pressure, right? You see all your friends like climbing the corporate ladder, starting a family. It's very enticing. And for us, we always knew that, that's not really the path we want to go. We want to do something bigger in life with more impact. And it's that very specific moment. There was just two paths for us. Like either we become an entrepreneur or, we just be comfortable. So still remember it like yesterday, but yeah, we took the the less I guess explored path, and yeah, we chose the entrepreneurial journey, and that was about what, like 6-7 years ago now.
Yeah, 6-7 years ago. And so our very first business together was we invested in a healthy fast food restaurant because we're really into health and wellness. So that's our first business, like a franchise. And part of that whole experience, which is incredible because you get to build a team and have your own hours. But we realized that because we made a lot of salads, it's a healthy fast food place, we were actually putting a lot of the salads and the fresh vegetables into a single-use plastic. I say plastic in quotes because they said that it's actually biodegradable, but we're not 100% sure. And then we're like shaking it up, and we actually would go through like over 100 of these plastic bags every single day, and it just kind of like made us wonder, like, wow, we're just one small restaurant. This is a franchise with hundreds of restaurants under one brand. Imagine how much plastic we're wasting across the industry and in general, just like in consumer goods, right? Like just in what you see in the grocery store. So that kind of made us think about sustainability in that sense too. So that led us on to opening up a bunch of other stores online, where we sold a bunch of products that we found that was kind of interesting and fascinating. And fast forward to us kind of discovering this concept, Kind Laundry, which was, I would say, around April 2020 of last year. That's when the inception of the idea started. And we just knew it was kind of like the one. Like it was just something we both actually liked and were passionate about, and it kind of represents us as people. So we created packaging, created the whole marketing message, and ordered our first inventory in August 2020, 6 months ago. And we thought we had enough inventory for 36 months, but we completely sold out the first month, to our surprise, because we just weren't sure if people understood this concept. Like, what do you mean it's detergent sheets? Like, does it replace dryer sheets? How does it work? But we didn't have to have that much education. Like we just felt like the market just got it, which is great, and they absolutely love it. So that's just kind of like in a nutshell how we came to Kind Laundry.
So now tell me what your product is, what your product or products are.
Sure. Well, we have it here in front of us. So this is our package. And we have actually 2 different SKUs. So there's fragrance free, and then there's Ocean Breeze for those who like scent in their laundry. And do you want to speak to the sheet itself?
Yeah, so the sheets like literally looks like your traditional like dryer sheet, but obviously is filled with detergents and cleaning agents. So here's a little trick too. Because it's so flexible, you can actually tear this detergent sheet in half or in a strip. And this is perfect for especially this time when you have face masks, you don't want to use an entire sheet. You can just use this. And then just for demonstration, here's a cup of water, just to show you guys how it sort of dissolves in water completely. So this is fully biodegradable. It only contains 4 simple plant-derived ingredients, and there's no, like, it's all non-toxic. And yes.
Yeah, so like pretty much
There you go.
traditional detergents, as you will be familiar with, these detergents, traditional ones, contain more than 25 toxic chemicals, and because it is liquid, it's mostly water anyways. And the chemicals could contain like things like, for instance, UV brighteners, dyes, or unnecessary surfactants to give you the illusion, people the illusion that it's cleaning the clothes better, but in fact, they're just ingredients to make the product look more green or more blue, because people, when they see blue or green, it looks like it's cleaning the clothes better, or chemicals to add to make it more soapy or sudsy. And also fragrance to make it smell really strong so that when you wash your clothes, you think it's cleaner, but in fact, it's just scent, strong scent. So for us, we removed all these unnecessary surfactants and chemicals that doesn't really clean the clothes. And we just really kept ingredients that would actually clean your clothes better, but they're also plant derived and a lot less toxic. And they're completely biodegradable. So that's the huge difference between something like a traditional detergent and the formulation of our product.
Yeah, but I think the main story with Kind Laundry though is once again this packaging. It's as you can see, it's all craft paper. There's no zero plastic at all. And when we look at actually, if you look at your home and your kitchen, just anywhere around your home, you have a sustainable product that you can either think of or you probably already own. But for some reason, when you look at your laundry room, there's just not an alternative out there right now. It's still filled with single-use plastic jugs or containers. So that's where we really see an opportunity for us to offer consumers who are kind of like us already on a sustainable journey, but are looking for that alternative to replace some of those products in their laundry room. And as probably most of your audience, and as you know, just even in the U.S. alone, close to 1 billion tons a billion plastic jugs goes into landfills and oceans every single year. And just to put that in perspective, in the world, that's like one garbage truckload of plastic dumped into the ocean every single minute. So for us, that is the main driver, and why we started Kind Laundry is really to tackle this global catastrophe that we really can't ignore.
That's awesome. Let's go back to the ingredients. Did you guys do the formulation? Did you, or you and your team, it didn't have to be you individually, or did you find something that was out there, able to buy it, license it, or something?
That's a great question. So we worked with their manufacturer and their team of chemists to come up with the formulation. So this is actually really exciting, but we're always looking for more sustainable raw ingredients, and it's always changing, and they would actually come forth with some ingredients that we can explore together. So I'll give you an example. We're updating our formulation to include tea seed oil. Tea seed oil or tea seed oil powder is actually very common in Asia. It's kind of like the baking soda powder in North America because it's very natural, it's antibacterial, and people there use it to wash their hair as shampoo, wash their dishes, and even also do their laundry. So we added that into our formulation. So we work closely with the chemist team to just play around with the formulation and add things, and we feel like it could be innovative or better for the earth.
Patents? Do you have any?
Sorry?
No, not
patents. Do you have any patents?
Yeah, that's something we're working towards. Again, just because we're so new in the market, we're just getting so much overwhelming responses for the product. We're moving everything all at once. The first thing was for us to just even tackle the demand. Again, it just caught us by surprise. But yeah, now we're just slowly looking at patents and trademarks and all that.
So let's go to the market real quick. You guys were marketers, so you probably have done a great job of marketing, and better than maybe some would. But what do you attribute that really great start that you had, and what do you attribute it to? What was the reasoning for it?
Yeah, I think really identifying the demographic is really important, because as you know, with laundry, like every single person in this world does laundry from birth to death, laundry. And it's kind of like water. You can target anyone in the world, but it's like you got to speak to the right audience. I think that's the most important. So for us, we really have pretty much two angles here, right? Because with zero waste in the laundry detergent category, that has never been talked about too much, especially with simple ingredients, kind of like what we're offering now with tea seed oil, that has never been seen before. So there's really two types of niches that we call that we can start with. And then once you gain a loyal audience, and then that's when you start slowly moving out from there. So yeah, I would probably attribute that. And then also just looking into the category that we're in, or a business could be in, to see what makes you unique. For us, obviously, our entire product is very unique in the category, but just focusing on those points that makes you stand out. So yeah, I think combining all those factors, that's what makes us successful so far.
So our we call them raving fans, but our community is mostly it's interesting when we look at our community and the analytics, but they're mostly young families, and also mommies that have young children or newborns, who are trying to introduce more non-toxic household cleaning products to their home. So we see that a huge, like, they have been instrumental in helping us share our story, giving us feedback as well, and yeah, helping us create content in the community for Instagram.
And Arif, Mark, stay on this page where you're at because I'm going to ask them some pricing questions. So I'm not proud of what I'm going to ask here, but I'm proud of sort of what's associated with it. But the reason it started is a whole different story. So for my entire married life, which is now almost 39 years, so 38 and a half, up until about 10 years ago, my wife did my laundry. And I'm not proud of that. It's just, that's the way it was. And she folded it, and it was in my closet and in my drawers and so on. 10 years ago, it's actually a little longer than that. I actually remember exactly. It was 2008, so almost 13 years ago now. We put some, and then by the way, the two of us were living alone then. We have 4 kids, and so before that, we had laundry for a lot of folks. But at that point, we were alone. No, you know what? As I think of it, we weren't. There was still one at home. But anyway, bottom line is we had a little toilet room where there was the toilet, okay? And right across from it were a mini washer and a mini dryer. And then the door was right here, okay? So you walked in, you turn right, you sit on the toilet, you turn left. So I'd be on the toilet and I'd see the washer and dryer. And I said, I think I could do this. And I started doing my own laundry. Well, that lasted 6 years, something. Now we live where we went back to the bigger washer and dryer. It's not nearly as convenient anymore, but I actually really like. And I've chosen my own detergents. By the way, I'm going to move to yours. But and I actually have gone with one for a company I'm not going to mention, which is, they talk about being biodegradable, and it is sheets, and it comes in a bag sort of instead of a box that is probably a paper type product. I've got to look a little more into that. But here's what I'm still embarrassed about. I don't buy that myself, so I don't know pricing. So how do you guys compare to that evil orange bottle that you showed earlier in Canada, let's say in your market directly?
Yeah.
Price-wise.
Yeah, definitely. So for us, we always look at the price per load, right? So we understand that there's a lot of brands out there. They're probably priced between 20 to 25 cents per load.
Yeah.
And then so that's kind of like your bottom tier, and then as you move up with the more eco-friendly options, the better ingredients, you're looking at somewhere between like 20 to 30 cents per load, depending on obviously the size that they sell it in as well. So with Kind Laundry, we actually have a subscription model, and also you can buy single box as well. And as you can see here on the screen, we have bundles, so it's a 3, 6, 10. So I would say we average out to be about like that high 20s, depending which package you get.
Mid 20s.
Mid to high 20s per load. So we're pretty competitive in the market. But obviously that's not to mention all the benefits you get from the product as well. And I think the customer is going to see a lot of value in that. Again, with the simpler ingredients, with the space that you're going to save as well in your laundry room, and then the ease of use. So Wayne, I love what you just said. It's so complicated to do laundry, and that's what deters a lot of people from doing it. And they always leave it to the end of the week. I'm guilty of that. And I used to do that.
It's the messy measuring cup.
It's all the messy measuring cups and the heavy lifting with the jug and all that. So one of our mission also is to alleviate that, right? To make laundry more fun and easy again. So I know I was talking about our target demographic in the beginning. So we noticed there are a lot of so far female customers, but surprisingly we're attracting a lot of male buyers as well, but for different reasons. It's because of the ease of use, and then obviously again the ingredients part. And we are getting a lot of feedback from moms saying that hey, I finally got my husband to start using the detergent sheet because it's so easy to use. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Yeah. And also, like, when it comes to pricing, when it comes to the orange, your typical orange jug, normally the costs that what you pay is going towards the plastic jug itself and the transportation, because it's so heavy to transport. Mm-hmm. So you're paying for like the gas for it. But because ours is so lightweight, we can actually put more of the dollars behind a better formulation that has quality ingredients. So for instance, like there are other players in the market that does sell these sheets, but what makes it very different is our formulation. With theirs, they contain up to 50% fillers or even more, and their main ingredient is starch, which is a bulking agent. It's not really a cleanser. So even comparing ourselves to another premium detergent sheet out in the market, our main ingredients is 45 times more expensive than their main ingredient. So imagine how much more expensive our main ingredient is with like something like a traditional detergent that's liquid that has like 25 toxic chemicals in it. So that's the main difference in terms of pricing. And yeah, we try to give the best value in terms of quality of our product and price, and we want to be affordable and accessible.
And I see free shipping. What's that? What's the geography of the free shipping?
All over the US and Canada if they spend
all over North America.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, like, we notice a lot of people are buying bundles just because, again, people are more environmentally conscious. So instead of doing a subscription, which requires monthly transportation as well, a lot of our customers actually they prefer to buy in bulk. So just that one shipment, one order, and then that would have that will be enough supply for them for either half a year or for the full year.
If I wanted to subscribe at the 3 box per delivery level, would I get a discount over the 54, or is that what it is even on subscription? Does the subscriber get paying a little less or the same?
Yeah, so the subscription is 15% off. So even if you buy it at one single box, you're getting actually more of a savings, and the subscription gets the free shipping as well. So yeah, definitely the subscription is I guess the main part of our business.
And a lot of people it's interesting because they don't know how much laundry or sheets they'll go through. So it's very flexible. They can go in and subscribe every month or change it to every 2 months, every 3 months, every 6 months. So they can log into the backend platform to play around with the dates and the amount that they want.
How about international? What if people wanted to buy what if Mark or Reed wanted to buy in Pakistan or Bangladesh?
Yeah, unfortunately, we haven't looked outside of the North American market as of yet. Again, just because of
Which,
how
by the way, huge market. You don't really need to from a size side. But I just was curious.
Yeah, so for us, we really just want to figure out just our audience, just even fine tune our branding, our messaging, just figuring out a lot of like little details before we expand into the international market. Just because there's just so much to learn within the North American market alone. So, but obviously there are thoughts to expand into the international market, but just not at this very moment right now.
Let's talk a little bit of economics. Is this now full time for you guys, or are you still doing some of the other entrepreneurial ventures that you described?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely not our full-time thing right now, and we do need other sources of income to support this business. Anybody that started a business from ground up, I think everyone knows how hard it is and how much resources it takes. So it's definitely, not something that it could sustain someone's lifestyle in the beginning. We believe in this product. We already have a lot of venture capitalists reaching out to us and trying to understand the product, and we have a lot of interest in investments as well. So potentially we can be looking at that, in the near future, actually, to just expand this brand very quickly, and just to even have the brand sustain itself in the long run, and also obviously to scale out as well.
Yeah, but at the moment we're fully self-funded. So I have
that was going to be my next question. So you've answered that.
Yeah, so we're fully self-funded. We do a lot of he still manages our other e-commerce business, and I do consulting on the side. And all that money, whatever's left over for our basic living expenses, we'll take for basic living expenses, and then everything that's left over we put into Klein Laundry.
Do you have a packager, or are you packaging in your garage or somewhere else close?
Manufacturer actually creates a product for us, and they work with their manufacturer to create the packaging for us. It's kind of like an all-in-one place.
Well, that's a good thing. So economics. What is it all Canadian done, or are you going overseas for anything?
Yeah, so our product is made overseas in China. We actually, before looking to our manufacturers, we actually interviewed and sampled over 30 manufacturers. There was one in Canada, but unfortunately, as much as we want to work with a Canadian manufacturer because we're Canadian, they just weren't flexible with how we want to customize our formulation. They're the ones that want to keep it as what it was, and we just had a lot of fillers and starch in it. And so we truly believe that if we're going to go all in this product and be zero waste, we might as well have the best non-toxic formulation. So we found a factory that has 17 years experience that specializes in this, and they're able to kind of help us with the formulation that we want to produce.
So I've heard, and I have really good friends that have had great experiences in China, and some that haven't had such good ones. And most of the ones that have had really good ones went over there and actually did visit with the manufacturer. Did you guys do that, or did you just work on trust a little bit here?
That's a really good question. Normally, so because we've been selling products online for the last 5 years, we go to Hong Kong, China every single year to visit all of our manufacturers. And by the way, they're incredible hosts. Every single time we go there, they're so kind. They take us around. We get to not only learn about their factory and their manufacturing process, because we believe they're the best in the world at manufacturing, but just also culturally too. They're just visiting the different cities. But because of COVID, we weren't able to visit them last year, and also we're trying our best to see what the Canadian regulations are when it comes to travel. Right now, it's still very strict. So hopefully we would love to go visit them. They've been asking us to as well, but they've been sending us videos and pictures of their process, so that's kind of cool. But right now, everything is based on trust.
I'm going to make an assumption. You're bilingual, or more than bilingual, so you probably speak some Chinese dialect.
I wish. So I'm actually happy.
Really? Wow.
I'm half Vietnamese and half Chinese, but I was born in Toronto, so unfortunately I don't know Chinese. You're born in Hong Kong, that's Cantonese.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, my parents is Cantonese, so that's the wrong side of the Chinese to be speaking in China. So they speak Mandarin,
Yeah.
and
Right.
it's two different dialects. So even
So you're not.
yeah, I still have to try to speak English to them to get them to understand.
So you've got to have heard this, but not always the audience has. So what do you call a person that speaks 3 languages?
I don't know.
Trilingual?
Trilingual.
Trilingual.
Okay. Trilingual. What do you call a person that speaks 2 languages?
Bilingual.
Bilingual. What do you call a person that speaks 1 language?
One-lingual, trilingual. What's the correct
American.
Oh.
American.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not even gonna go there.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, it is really true. So, and again, I'm not saying Canadian. I said American. I was pointing all the fingers were pointing at me. I speak some Spanish, but not nearly. Mark and Arib, I'm not even, they're going to be very humble about it, but at least 7 languages.
Wow.
Okay. Unbelievable. So, we do not have the language skills for some. But anyway, that hurts you on the manufacturing side. It's not a big help. But anyway, landed cost, let's say I'm trying to just get to what your margins are. Just so as entrepreneurs, people think about it. So what's your landed cost per box? And if you just sell a single box, what would be retail for it? Not with the shipping and everything. So people are going to pay for shipping. What would just a box with shipping added be?
So all of this is pretty still confidential now because we are negotiating on pricing. And
okay.
Because it does.
Well, maybe just give me percentage. What's your gross percentage over just generally?
It's.
But if
I mean, yeah, it depends which channel that we're selling it from. Like obviously we have our D2C channels. We have sometimes even dropship channels that people want to dropship our products. Retailers obviously, but we always aim for like above 50%.
Okay. Well, bottom line is that a problem? Would you like to greatly reduce what your landed cost is?
Yeah, we're always trying to reduce our landed costs as much as possible because also because it's like an entrepreneurial community. When you're shipping product, so we have 3 SKUs. Not all of our products are actually made in China. We have a vegan stain remover bar that's made in Canada. So
we saw that earlier. That was very cool.
Yeah. So we work with teams and manufacturers that specialize in specific products. So for specifically sheets, it is made in China. So as you know, and the community knows, when you import stuff from China, there is that tariff tax, that 25% tariff tax as well. So because of that, we are trying our best to decrease it as much as possible, but that it has to do with economies of scale, like as we increase our volume. But at the same time, right now, raw material pricing is also increasing too. So there's just so many, that's why it's fluctuating all the time. It's hard to kind of give an actual number because it's based on volume, based on raw material costs. It could change next month. Right now, it already changed, and so many other variations.
Let's talk about your sales channels. What percentage of your sale is off your website? What percentage to, let's say, 2 retailers? And what percentage is maybe Amazon, other third-party website sales?
I would say like
online sales.
Point would probably be like 55% D2C, so on our website, and then I would say 45% retail. Yeah, and third parties, that's just very, very new. We just onboarded just a couple, like a handful of websites and platforms like marketplaces that would love to sell our product, but it's more like a dropship model. So we just signed the contract and everything, so we don't know what the flow through is yet. But we're thinking that that could be a pretty decent sized part of our business as this model becomes more and more popular and we sign on more third-party dropship sites.
What would you like to be in that next 5 years from now, let's say?
That's a great question. I guess D2C, because I mean, that's where the margins are and you have control of the customer. Like you get to connect to them, you have their email, you can send them email address. But we know that in order to make a huge impact, most people in the world today still go into the grocery stores to buy their detergent. So we just want to be accessible and affordable. In order to have that impact, we have to put ourselves in retail stores. So
yeah, and the way I see it is you know, with businesses and entrepreneurship, there's a level of luck involved as well. As much as hard as you can work, there's going to be some luck, and for us, we just want to be omni-channel for now, and then see where that luck strikes us, right? Because like, you know, you hear about brands that become, you know, massive through e-commerce, and then there are ones that come through retail, right? There's just all like all businesses grow in different ways, and everyone has their different journeys. So for us right now, we're not eliminating any opportunities for us. So yeah, we're just going to continue to you know, go through all the major channels and see what happens.
In your other entrepreneurial ventures, have you attracted much outside capital? So if you do it with this one, is this a first, or have you done it before?
No, this is going to be our first time that you know, if we're going to look down that entrepreneurial, or sorry, the venture capital route, it'll be
let's not put venture capital. Let's just say outside, because as you know, venture capital has its own sort of definition. So just broadly, outside capital.
Yeah, it'll definitely be our first time. Yeah, everything that we've done so far has been self-funded, but we know, you know, with the laundry detergent category, it's a beast of a category. Again, it's just so massive, and
it's huge.
Yeah, if we want to disrupt the category or just challenge some of these brands that's dominating the market, you know, we do need outside help, and we realize that. So now we're just more open-minded to not being fully self-funded for in the future.
Yeah, especially in this category, I think it's very important. Innovation is pretty much everything in this category. So like that outside help would be like hiring resources such as a chemist or scientist to really kind of work with us to continue to innovate and find more ways to make our product as earth-friendly, planet-friendly, and safe for the human health as possible.
And is that your primary goal, or how about adding SKUs? Which you can, there's so many areas I can think of. Laundry detergent, for example, right away comes up.
Yeah.
But
yeah, for now we just you
know, I said laundry. I meant dishwashing. I mean dishwashing. You're already in laundry. Dishwashing is one that comes to mind right away.
No, I kind of got what you mean. No, for us, because like, you know, our name is Kind Laundry, and we just think that, again, the laundry detergent category is just so huge that there's just so much opportunity just within it. We just want to be good at one thing first, right? And we don't want to have our attention go away from this. You know, we just want to be known to be like that detergent company that makes great products, that helps the planet and all that, before we venture off anywhere else. So yeah, for now, we're just going to be sticking with this one product, you know, until later on, then we can explore other options. But yeah, I think for now, that's it.
But within the sheet category, there's so many things that we can add to it, like in terms of variations of the SKU. So like we launched with fragrance spray, and then we had a lot of feedback immediately that they would love, for those that love scent, we actually added the scent in our second order. And then we're actually working on playing around with different formulations, where like we have one for, and this is very, very niche, but much needed when we actually surveyed our customers, is one for blood stains, or for that time of the month where women have to go through, you know, taking care of their undergarments and stains. Yeah. And then because that formulation can tackle that, that means it could also tackle like heavier soiled clothing like mud or grass as well. So those are the kind of type of we're talking about.
I'm having a negative happen here. I'm going to continue to ask you questions. I use a landline for my audio because I'm on a satellite. The video works fine, but if I tried to do the audio over the satellite, it would be delayed, and I'd look like I was talking a second later. This phone's now going dead, which I have another one, but I'm going to have to walk out of here. So I'm going to turn my webcam on pause for just a second, and I'm going to keep asking you some questions, but I'm just going to pause it because I'm going to go get another phone. This has been awesome, by the way. You guys have been great, and I think it's an amazing topic. So have you ever watched the show Shark Tank?
Yes.
On TV?
Yeah.
Have you thought about that as a funding potential? And I ask it for a bunch of reasons, but just have you thought about it?
That's a great question again. Actually, the producer of Shark Tank reached out to us to audition for the show. And obviously, we would love to go on the show. Unfortunately, because we're Canadian, we're not eligible. But there's a Canadian version of Shark Tank. Yes, yes. I mean, Shark Tank has been inspirational for us. We grew up watching Shark Tank and learning a lot from it. But yeah, because of our status, we can't apply for it. But there's a Canadian version.
Well, and at least Kevin O'Leary is Canadian, and maybe Robert Herjavec is, but at least I know Kevin is. So
they moved over to Shark Tank. So yeah, there is a Canadian version called Dragon's Den, and we've also been their producer reached out to us as well to come on the show, but we're still kind of thinking about it because we still need to think about when we do bring on an outside investor, we want to make sure that that outside investor is a good strategic partner as well. It's not just funding. We do need advice and help, so we're just kind of figuring it out right now.
All right. Well, and by the way, now I remember I have 3 phone lines. This is one of the 3 that won't allow me to switch. I'm going to have to call in another line. I'm going to try to wait out the battery here. But Sierra, would you please be thinking of some questions if for some reason I get cut? So we've got about 10 minutes left. I don't know if you guys have watched any of our previous webinars and know that one of the things I like to do is what's called a lightning round, where I ask you some questions that are really more insightful about you, because you've been great. I think we understand your business, and we're going to end it by letting you tell us 2 things. One, what's the easiest way to buy the product from your website, I think that's probably where you make the most money. Or if people are Canadian, are there some retailers they should go into? And then second, here, Mark or Reeves putting it, how's the best way to get a hold of you? And other than buying product, what's another way that our 30,000 person community can help you? And that we can do some, because you're doing awesome stuff. I mean, it's a crazy. Sierra, are you ready to jump in if my phone totally goes dead and I have to switch to another one, which could happen? I mean, I would only be off for like 15 seconds, but it could be off for a little bit. Let me turn my webcam back on. All right, let's try this lightning round. And since there's 2 of you, I love it when there's 2. If you each have different answers to these questions, give them. Who is a person that affected you in, let's say, pre-20 life, before you were 20, that is not your parents? And tell us why.
Oh my God, that's I never had that question before. I don't know what to say. I would say myself, if that counts. It's just, I don't have entrepreneurial friends or family, and everything I've done is just out of just motivation on my own.
For me, even in my 20s, I've been following a lot of just entrepreneurs. I've just been so fascinated about that. So one person was Tony Robbins. I was listening to a lot of YouTube videos, watching a lot of his old, well, he has a lot of old cassette tapes, but I watched a lot of his old and listened to a lot of his old content for inspiration and motivation.
Happen to go to a live event yet?
Yes. So
live Tony?
Yeah, we did our first Unleash the Power Within event, and then immediately after that we did Life Mastery. And then actually this weekend, starting Saturday, we're going to do the business mastery course with him, which we're very excited for because we've heard only great things about it.
Do you like Brendan Burchard?
Sorry, who?
Burchard?
You know that name?
Yeah.
Brendan Burchard.
Sounds very familiar.
Tony and he do things together sometimes. He's out of Portland. He's not as charismatic as Tony is. He's more of a calm, sort of level-headed speaker. Remember that name. Look him up. Brendan Burchard. I think you would greatly enjoy him. All right, let's go to the next phase of your life. Post 20, today, who would you say is somebody that is a mentor to you? And it might be Tony. I mean, maybe someone else.
Yeah, so for me personally, I don't know, like, yeah, I guess it's a virtual mentor. Like, he doesn't know me. I obviously know him, but it'll be Eckhart Tolle. So for me, like, just going through the entrepreneur journey and just doing so many things on my own to constantly try to improve, it just takes a lot of toll on me mentally. So I find that, you know, following Eckhart Tolle's teachings, which is a very spiritual teachings for anybody that doesn't know who Eckhart Tolle is. His teaching is to have you focus on the now. That's what he's famous for. And just because your past and your future doesn't dictate who you are, you know, later on in life. So for me,
by the pound or hash sign.
So for me,
Sorry about that. I'm actually, go ahead.
One person I enjoy reading right now is it's through books, by the way. It's Napoleon Hill and Wayne Dyer. So again, same concept. Talk about how to live your best life and how to connect.
1044. Please re-enter your access code followed by the pound or hash sign.
So one of the biggest
I
intentions.
apologize, but I'm trying to get on the other line here before this one dies.
Okay, no problem.
We are at risk.
It's the other line is, I apologize, it's talking over the top. You just hit on my next question quickly. What's a book or a website or a blog, you name it, that you read over the last year or so that you would highly recommend? And you just gave one. So if you've got something else, and mainly it's because our listeners will actually probably, you know, go to try to find it. So.
Yeah, for me, another book would be, I guess it'll be Phil Knight's Shoe Dog, because I just love his entrepreneurship mindset and just his never give up mentality, just because he made Nike so big to the point today, but he did it back in a time where, especially, you know, now a lot of people are blaming like, oh, and you know, it's impossible to start a business, and you know, there's so many outside factors, but he actually started Nike when I guess the Americans and Japanese just had a war, and him flying to Japan to you know, negotiate with Japanese manufacturers. So and then coming back and then just having that inspiration to start his own Nike brand. I think that.
This is Wayne. I was off for just a second. I'm back on a line that will keep me on now.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Guys there?
Yeah, we're here. Can you hear us?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hi.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I didn't have it on speaker. I got it now. All right. And the next one. What's a tool? So it could be a physical tool. It could be an internet-related tool. Anything that you used over the last year that, again, you would recommend to somebody else. Other than your product. You can't use your product.
Well, in general, because we have because it's only the two of us and we're wearing so many different hats. I love Google Drive and Slack. That keeps me organized. That's a must-have for sure.
For me, I guess it's just all my Apple products. I just love how everything connects seamlessly, like either that's text message or emails or whatever, everything is one ecosystem. So yeah, as an entrepreneur, we always have to be organized. So yeah.
Am I hearing a divided household? PC, Mac?
No, we both used to have a PC, but we both recently transitioned over to a Mac and still trying to get used to it, but it's definitely a lot easier.
I live in a divided household. I've tried Apple, and I mean, you know, I'm a iPhone guy and an iPad, but I just have never been able to give up my PC. My wife's a web designer, a graphic artist, you know, everything that, and then so she just is an Apple. It's just, you know, to die for. So I live in the divided household. So I call this the hard question, and then I'm going to let you guys give some final thoughts, and anybody in the audience, if you've got something specific you want to ask, please do. Again, you can do this individually or one of you, however you want to do it. Tell us about something that happened in your life that at the time was really negative, and now as you look back at it, the results from it turned out really positive.
Oh, that's a great question. We have so many negative times. I guess we can talk about the most recent one, which is last year around this time, before we had Kind Laundry. You know, we had a lot of businesses and we're making, you know, cash flow money in different ways, but we just felt very not fulfilled. And I guess that negativity, it was pretty negative because we were constantly arguing and fighting about, you know, what's our next thing, like why are we doing what we're doing, like what should we focus on, etc. So that forced us to actually lock ourselves in a room and write down, you know, brainstorm. We actually had a sheet. I don't remember that day. Remember the chart of like our goals and like, you know, what we want to achieve from our next business that we want to build and create. And we actually had a spreadsheet to like break down all the pros and the cons and some ideas that we had, right? Mm-hmm. For it. And Kind Laundry came up, and then we just knew. It's like sometimes when you look at a product and you just kind of know, like that energy was just kind of there. So that was negative for a couple of weeks, but then also just before that argument, we actually went to Florida, to Miami, to take a little break because we're always working, and that was really nice to sometimes mentally check out from work. And we were able to like go to the ocean, just enjoy the sunny weather, and that really helped us reset some of our, I guess, priorities in life.
Yeah, and I guess for me, it's just my personal life. You know, like growing up as a kid, especially being an immigrant to the country. You know, life's not always easy. You know, learning the language as well. English is actually not even my first language. I know we kind of talked about it this way, but yeah, learning the English language, just falling behind in school because of that, and just being made fun of in school, and just having a really tough time growing up, because I didn't come from a wealthy background or anything, so grew up not necessarily like in the nicest neighborhoods. And to even down to my 20s, just letting, you know, my employers and my supervisors telling me, you know, you're not good enough in life, you're not good enough to do all these things. You know, when you grow up 20 years like that, just having all these people telling you, you know, you're not good enough for this world is tough. And that's why I think I told you that the biggest motivator in my life was myself, because I had to fight for a lot of things for myself. Especially for a guy, you know, like there's just no mercy in this world for men if you're not strong enough. That's just, I guess, the mentality. And I had to learn very quickly, like how to just change myself through everything, physically, mentally, just everything. So yeah, for me, the biggest turning point was, you know, one day I just realized, you know, I just had to do something in life, because otherwise it's just, you know, not gonna go well for me in every single way. So you know, I started picking up from, you know, just doing a lot of physical workouts, number one. That gave me a little bit of confidence, like knowing that, hey, you know, I can, you know, as a guy, you always want to put on muscles and things, stuff like that. So, you know, when I was finally able to do that, that first gave me my confidence. And I started to approach people more. And then eventually I just wanted to do well in my career. And then it kind of just built up and up and up. But yeah, I think for me, it just all started with, you know, having a rough childhood.
Well, I said early, you know, we would maybe get into this topic. By the way, what's your time frame? It is after 1. how much, do you have another 10 minutes? We went 10 minutes longer.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Real quick, back to that early on question, and you just related to it a little bit. You know, you hear about the issues in this country right now, and some very immediate with the 8 murders that occurred in Atlanta, of which it appears, you know, 6 of the 8 were Asian, and then you hear a lot about Asian hate right now. Did you guys, either one of you, grow up with any of what you felt was that? And then in your case, you know, I get it. Guys have a little different, and it sounds sexist, but the reality is there's a different sort of pressure. And I'm not your culture, but I think there's isn't there more of a male pressure even in maybe the Cantonese, you know, that there's a little more of a pressure. So anyway, both of you talk to that topic just a little bit.
Yeah, I can quickly speak to it because, like, you know, of exactly my background, because, like, you know, I do have a Chinese background. Now back to the topic about growing up. To be honest, I didn't experience too much of that, like, racial, I guess, stereotype or attack on me personally, just because, again, Canada is such a multicultural country, and especially in Toronto, there's just people of all walks of life. So not necessarily that. I think, you know, during my rough time as a child is the fact that I just didn't speak the language, and I just got made fun of a lot because of that. But not necessarily because of my skin color or the way I look or anything. So I was very fortunate not to experience that. So, you know, again, you know, we might not be the best person to ask about this topic, just because, again, like we just don't experience a lot of that in Canada. The Asian population here is quite big here in Canada as well. So, you know, we just, you know, just don't experience it too much.
Yes, for me personally too. I'm just so grateful to have been born here, and in our community, like just going to public schools and just looking at my friends, and I have a lot of very close friends. It's very multicultural. So the whole what's happened in the past year in the US hasn't been really as like we haven't gone through it personally, to be honest. And again, I'm so grateful. But again, like in my group of friends, we have a couple Asians in there. We have Trinidadians. We have one of my best friends from Serbia. It's truly multicultural. So we've never looked at things in that lens.
Yeah. And the last thing I guess I just want to add to that is, and I think I talked about this in the beginning of the call, is like, it's like, you know, I just don't even see people of color, like different colors anymore. It could be just the different things that I mentioned, like in terms of spirituality and the mindset, that you just see people as just beings, you know, like inner energy.
Yeah.
And, you know, your body is just your outer shell, you know, you're just a spirit experiencing a physical world, right? So, you know, at the end of the day, when you leave this world, you're just you're just a spiritual being. So, and I treat people like the way I want to be treated. So maybe I just never felt that, you know, that resistance from the other side, because I talk to everyone the same way. I don't, right, without caring what you physically look like. So yeah, I think I'm very just fortunate in that, and I'm not ignoring the issue. Don't get me wrong. I know there is that issue out there, but you know, we all live our internal worlds, and I don't like to be caught up in a lot of those things as well, and make me be fearful when I walk out, right? I don't want to carry that fear in my head. It's like, hey, is this person looking at me at a certain way? Because that's going to change my behavior, and if that changes my behavior, it's going to trickle, and I'm going to talk to someone differently. So I just don't want to carry that with me, and I intend to keep it that way.
Yeah. By the way, you said something there that I think every spirituality in the world teaches, if we all just would listen. And that is, do unto others as you would have others do unto you. You just sit and think about that. And I mean, and that's I can't even imagine, and I've studied a lot of spiritualities in the world. There's none of them that teach, you know what, treat other people badly. And then you should get treated well. And nobody teaches that. I mean, it's not. So do unto others as you would have others do unto you. And then here's another one. I I learned this from my dad initially, but I know that it came from a lot of other sources. And that's love the sinner. We all make mistakes. We're all going to screw stuff up. Love the sinner. Hate the sin. Meaning, you could do something that a behavior, something I don't really like at all, and we could agree to disagree and dislike that, but I need to love you. Everybody. And if we could just get back, I think in the U.S. here, we've gotten away from those two attitudes in a big sort of way. Because again, like you, I live in a rural situation, and maybe some of my best friends are animals just because I'm around them a lot. And so I look at them in kind of the same way. Is that it isn't just not all humans are alike, because I think they are. Color doesn't matter. Spirituality doesn't matter. Education doesn't matter. Intelligence doesn't, any of that. But I'll throw it in with other animals too, and say that it's the same thing. You should treat everything the way you'd want to be treated. Anyway, so last question, and then you guys give us some final thoughts. You're entrepreneurs. Define entrepreneurism for me, and in your context, not the way you've heard Tony Robbins do it or anybody else. Each of you give your definition of an entrepreneur, and make it fairly short, so not long. And then lastly, and as you finish it in this context, as yourself, you now as an entrepreneur, are you a starter or a finisher? And before you answer it, I'll give you mine. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 12. I'm 68. That's 56 years. I'm a starter. I really don't, and I didn't used to know this. I didn't realize this, but I don't get a lot of internal joy from finishing. I just assume let someone else finish. I'm a starter. So in that question, starter versus finisher. But anyway, define for each of you entrepreneurism, and then are you a starter or a finisher? Maybe both. Maybe you're both too. I'm clearly a starter. So.
Yeah. So for me, like the shortest form possible, an entrepreneur, in my definition, is someone that takes an idea that they believe in and make things happen. Because a lot of people can talk about ideas, but like you said, if you don't execute or start, then it won't come alive. And I'm a starter because when we do have ideas, we like to execute right away on it and make things happen. And it's also enjoying the entire journey as well. So I don't want this to end and finish ever, especially with Kind Laundry. We want it to continue for as long as we can live, even when we're really old. So yeah, I just don't see a finish to a lot of our projects. We just continue to start mini projects around it.
Yeah, and I guess my definition to entrepreneurship is very similar. Is a lot of people now, especially with the digital age, they call themselves entrepreneurs. But to me, the criteria that you got to be is you got to have the grit, the drive, and also the motivation to just keep going every single day. So to go from an idea to executing. Just having the idea is not good enough, and a lot of people call themselves an entrepreneur just based on that alone, and the idea and execution goes nowhere. And then also the most important thing actually to me is to how to get comfortable with being uncomfortable every single day. There's a lot more losses than wins, to be honest, in entrepreneurship, but like how do you battle that until you get that big win? And for me, starter, I think I'm a starter for sure. I just see myself learning for the rest of my life. It never ends. And that goes to either personal development in the business or just the way I view the world in general. Even the world to me is starter. It's a never ending cycle, and things that pops up all the time.
think that's on your side. Well, thank you. Those are great answers. So now, as I said, let's end it with, unless Mark or Reeb or Sierra, others have questions, anybody in the audience, give us some final thoughts, whatever you want them to be, and make sure in those, I think you've already said it, but Mark and Reeb, please show on the website what's the best way to get your product, ordering from you. If we're in Canada, is there another way we should do it? Or in Toronto, let's say, very close. And then contact, and that's there. I see you've got the email address, there's a phone number up there, a toll free, and there's obviously a form that people can fill out. So that's there. So let's go to the final thoughts, and then how should we buy from you?
Yeah. So final thoughts from me is, you know, as entrepreneurs, I think it's a very lonely journey, and you know, we just need to all sort of support each other. But now, even with the pandemic that's happening right now, it's just more reasons for people to be closer together. And you know, I know we talked about politics a little bit, and it's very unfortunate that there's all these events that's happening around the world. But you know, that's what we started Kind Laundry for. It's, you know, again, like our packaging says, let's be kind together. And that goes for everything, right? Like from entrepreneurship to just saving this planet. I know it sounds cliche, but it takes everyone's effort to move forward. And you know, the thing that we always see in Kind Laundry is like, you know, hey, if one customer's switch over from plastic to a more sustainable option, imagine you multiply that by hundreds of thousands to hopefully a billion down the road, then you really eliminate that problem that I said in the beginning, of having a billion plastic jugs going to the ocean every single year, just in the US, right? So it's the togetherness that I think is very important for businesses, and also transparency as well. So that's one thing that we really stand behind, is the transparency of our company, in terms of you know, our customer communication, the way we formulate our product, and just having an open dialogue to partnerships as well. So we're partnering up with a lot of sustainable brands, like clothing brands, for example, which has not really been done in the laundry detergent market too. So I think a lot of the theme here for us is like working with everyone. I think, you know, gone are those days is where, you know, a company does everything on their own and try to build an empire on their own. But really it's just connecting with the community. Thank you.
Yeah, I think Bernard kind of summed up very well. It's, again, just connecting with like-minded people, and we call it mastermind, and just helping each other out to grow with each other and make an impact.
And yeah, in terms of contacting us, yeah, it's right there on the screen. So hello@kindlaundry.com. Our team checks the emails, but yeah, anything that comes to us, if it needs our attention, it'll get forwarded to us personally. And obviously you can find us at www.kindlaundry.com. That's our website. And then on Instagram is @kindlaundry.
And if you're in Canada, the best place to buy our product would actually be on well.ca, WELL.ca.
And for me, it's ordered directly from your website, correct?
Yes. For US customers, directly from kindlaundry.com. As a conversion.
Yeah. I apologize that we went late. I do have one last question. This one's probably fun. How many names did you go through before you settled on Kind Laundry?
Oh, probably, I think maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, not that much, to be honest. You know, I think we quickly knew what we needed the company to represent and who we are as people, and just, again, being kind to each other, kind to your community, kind to the world. And it was a no-brainer having a kinder laundry option. So that word kind just came up very quickly for us. So yeah, it was very natural.
Colors and logo. How much of that? And how did you use anything like Fiverr or some of the other services, so on, to get your logo?
That's a funny story, because we initially went on Fiverr, almost went with a different type of packaging, and then thank God we didn't. And then we went to a platform called 99 Designs. It's really cool because it's free. Just say you have a project, for instance, like our project in this case is packaging, and you get to create a brief of exactly who you are, what you're standing for, what your product is, and you have a bunch of designers bid on this project. and we saw a bunch of ideas, and we got lucky. This amazing designer from New Zealand who understood what we stood for. Her agency is actually called Create for Good. Helped us create some of these amazing packaging. So yeah.
In terms of a